Hennessey Town Board of Trustees, regular meeting December 8th. Roll call, please.
Richard?
Here.
Cliff?
Here.
Bert?
Here.
Harold?
Here. All right, report from Hennessey United Board. Barbara?
We haven't met.
We haven't met.
No.
Okay. Item 3 is consider approval of consent agenda. A is minutes of the October meetings. B, approval of claims as follows. November purchase orders, 2,186.25. December purchase orders, 36,622.54. December restricted sales tax fund, 25,467.59. December library fund, 677.77. December street and alley fund, $50.47. Accept the following reports: treasurer, library, and police. Yes, sir. Is there any additions or corrections to the consent agenda?
If there's not at this time, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call?
Cliff?
Yeah.
Harold?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Bert?
Yeah. Citizens' comments? Anybody got anything to bring up? Okay, town administrators report, Tiffany.
You guys have my report. I did hire a new dispatcher. The one that we hired last month, she just didn't work out. But now we have hired Kayla Kelter.
Kayla Keltner.
She just moved here from Utah. We hired her. She started last Thursday, so I think she will.
She is working out very well.
Yes.
Very well.
Right.
Yes, picking up on it pretty quick.
And don't forget the planning meeting, February 5th. And starting next month, our meetings will be the second Thursday at 6 p.m. Don't forget, 6 p.m.
Starting in January,
Yes,
we moved up to 6.
yes.
I didn't realize we did that.
So on the sewer project in Osborne Addition, where are we at with that?
DEQ has approved them now that we have to go out to bid for it. So,
What about that drainage over there on Cemetery, or on Mitchell Road, where we cleaned all that out? Why do we still have water in the ditches?
because the little sidewalk crossing coming over from the elementary school, when we got it all cleaned out, you can see that tin horn is higher than everything else. So in order now to get it to drain, we're gonna have to take out that.
We'll just lower the culvert, or?
But then we'd have to take out the sidewalk crossing. So I don't know that, and if we take it out, I haven't really spoken to, I was out sick last week, I haven't got a chance to talk to Mr. Sturmer to see if we take it out. I know he's talking to engineers about redoing that whole thing because he wants to put in parking and cover drainage. So if we take it out, I don't know that we'll put it back because that would just be an expense that that would probably be redone anyway. So
Where's the water coming from? I mean, we haven't had rain in a while, and that ditch has got.
that is from the pool, groundwater.
So there's no leaks in there nowhere?
No.
Is there,
Did you say the sidewalk? I didn't understand. What's gonna have to be taken out?
The sidewalk crossing from the elementary school to the street.
Oh,
there's a little small block right there.
and that's the town's?
It's not really the
Well,
town's.
I thought that was the school property.
It is the school,
It is.
but in order for us to get our water to drain,
Oh,
it's kind of a catch-22, so.
I don't even know who put the culvert in, Barb. I don't know if that's something the town did years ago or if the school did it.
But
Get
they
that
put it
little
in too
water.
high, and so now the water is caught there and won't really drain.
Okay.
And what the issue is, the water table is higher than the deep end of the pool. So there's a, I guess lack of a better word, a sump area over east of the pool that's deeper than the pool. It's got a pump in it, so it pulls the groundwater. Is there any place else we can go with that? We're pulling a lot of water. I mean, it's full all the time. We can't go to the sewer system with it. We've already got issues with it. I mean, getting groundwater in it, so, or not groundwater, but rainwater.
Okay.
Didn't mention that groundwater, where are we at with that?
The sewer?
No, yeah, the guys putting in dudes and sewer lines.
Yes, we're supposed to be getting a report back from them any day now. They came in, they got the data from it last week, and so we should be getting a report back from them.
They've got them installed and
And then they'll get the reports, and then they'll decide where we're going to move them to. So.
okay. All right. Anything else on your report, Tiffany? All right, other scheduled business, item A. Discuss, approve, deny, reject, and or take action on the following. Item A, discussion with possible action to renew employee health, vision, and life insurance as presented by P-Town. I'm assuming that's you, I don't think I've met you.
It's been a long time, but I'm, Chuck Payne's
Right,
son-in-law.
right.
Yeah. It's been many years now, I think, Bert. Maybe 5 or so. But anyways, that's the reason I'm here, just to talk about the renewal, let you know a little bit about the work that we did. Blue Cross and Blue Shield is still going to be your best deal on that Blue Advantage network. We did get some other quotes with United Healthcare, which is not competitive. The other thing that we tried to do was get a proposal through the Municipal Health Solutions group, which is a new plan. Going back a long time ago, the Municipal Health Solutions plan was around. It kind of went under, but they kind of revived that last summer. July 1st was the first effective date for that. And just to be honest with you, they have not set that thing up properly. Or in the way, I should say, that's easy for municipalities to get on there. They've quoted, 50 or more municipalities, and there's only 3, to my knowledge, that have actually been accepted. I actually have one of those, and it's really just based on very good claims experience. Your claims experience, which I have here, it's not included in the packet, is pretty good, but it's just not to really the level that they want to accept new membership on. So, anyways, having said all that, we did do our due diligence and try, to find, the best deal out there, which brought us back to the Blue Cross plans, that you see right here. There's a little chart that I've shown. I think yours is in black and white, mine's in color. But really, your renewal's not bad. Going back the last couple of years, the renewal has been, very, very minimal. No rate increase, 1%. This year, the rates are going up more than what they have been. Lots of reasons for that. The carriers are concerned about inflation, and what that's gonna do to medical. Inflation hits medical costs, probably more than it does all the other expenses out there. There's been some contract renegotiations with Blue Cross and some of the major providers, OU as an example. What came out of those contract negotiations is they're actually having to pay out a little bit more for the same services. There's been gene therapies and really, really expensive treatments that have hit the market that are, they're $1 million. And they're, very impactful to people's lives. Hopefully, none of your covered employees and their dependents would ever have to do anything like that, but, Blue Cross does know that there's the potential for that. So the rates to keep the plan that you have it's going up about 8.2%, which, to be honest with you, is on the lower end of all the renewals I have right now. Most everything else is in the 10 to 12 range, so hopefully that'll make it a little bit better. The other thing is about your particular plan that you offer. I love this plan. If I ever move to Hennessey, I'm coming to work for the town, just so I can get this plan, because the benefits you guys do offer for your employees, they're second to none. I mean, this is the richest plan, that really Blue Cross has, and really all the carriers, offer. At the maximum liability for one person in a year is only $1,250. That's the max out of pocket.
And 500 deductible.
I say what?
And 500 deductible.
And a 500 deductible, yes. Yes. So some of the others in here that have different plans know, how good that is, for sure. The other thing is, Insure Oklahoma, you guys still participate in the Insure Oklahoma program. We just looked at the numbers, here before the meeting. You're getting back about $30,000 a year. In premium reimbursement through that Insure Oklahoma program. That would continue on, with the increase, so you get about, 33,000 maybe back next year, assuming that nothing else changed. I did show some alternative plans on there. These are still really, really good plans. They get the rates down just a little bit, if we needed to do that. Tiffany may want to talk about this, but I know that, she did budget an amount. These did come in, within or under budget, which is good. So we do have that working for us. The dental, vision, and life, the other benefits that are in the back there, I won't spend a whole lot of time on those because there was no change. Same dental rates, same vision rates, same life rates. And same benefits, no changes at all.
I have a question. I'm
Yes, sir.
looking at our employee list, and I see that we have an employee that's 65, and the premiums are high. He would obviously, I'm assuming, be on Medicare.
Sure.
Would a supplement, or does this act as a supplement?
It acts as a supplement.
And if so, why is the premium almost $1,100 on that?
So these particular plans are age rated. Talking about, the Affordable Care Act, that passed many years ago now. What happened with the Affordable Care Act is companies and groups that are, between 2 and 50 employees, they can't be rated based on any of medical history, medical experience. I know the municipal health plan and some others can be, but these fully insured plans with Blue Cross, United, and others, they are age rated. That's it. So it doesn't matter what the medical history is of a person or group. I can go to really anywhere in this area. If the company or group is 2 to 50 employees, I can tell them what the rate's going to be just by knowing the age. Bert, to your point, younger employees, they're gonna pay less, older employees are gonna pay more.
So even though Blue Cross is gonna pay out less on an individual that's on Medicare, we're still paying the highest premium on that individual.
Correct, but let me touch on that for a second. So, there's a thing called Medicare secondary payer rules. And basically you have that, employees that you're talking about. If you have over 20 employees, which you do, and somebody's on the group plan and they are on Medicare, the group plan is gonna pay primary. So for those people, really the Blue Cross Blue Shield medical plan is the primary payer. Medicare is gonna be secondary just because you guys have under 20 employees, or excuse me, over 20 employees. Now, it gets a little bit hairy when you're looking at, I know exactly what you're thinking, well, hey, why can't we just take this person off of the plan, put them on a Medicare supplement, it's a win-win for them and for us. The federal government frowns on that, and the reason why is, they're somewhat trying to protect the Medicare plan, and they're not wanting to pay for any claims that they don't have to. So they set that rule as to say, you know, hey, as the employer, as the company, you can't really force somebody off onto Medicare. Now, there's ways to kind of go about doing that. Now, I'm agreeing with you, there's a lot of people that Medicare is probably the best place for them, right? I mean, in the long haul, that's, you know, lower out of pocket, even with your plan, at your $500 deductible, $1,250 out of pocket, you know, Medicare a lot of times is gonna be a little bit better. You know, but the only way to really get them to do that is through just education, and really kind of having that light bulb go off to where they make that decision on their own, because you don't want to get into a situation where you're forcing, or, you know, attempting to force somebody off the plane to go off on Medicare just because the government frowns.
No, I totally understand
Yeah.
that, and
That was a
that
long
isn't
answer.
at all what I had in mind, but I didn't realize Medicare was secondary coverage, and this
Yep.
was primary.
Yep, yep.
And I was thinking it was flipped the other way, and with this being secondary, the premium should be considerably lower.
Correct, correct.
And the government doesn't, that's a rule that they've got set.
That's a hard and fast rule, yeah. In fact, we have to report every year how many employees every employer has. They then in turn report that to Medicare, so the coordination can happen.
In fact, they asked me for an employee count today.
Yep, yep,
Wow,
yep. So,
that's interesting.
yeah. Lot to this
Paying
sometimes.
the Medicare for 40 years and then they're not encouraging us to use it.
If an employee volunteers to go on Medicare, Hennessey would still be counted as having 20 employees.
Correct, correct. It goes off of how many, you know, total employees you have on payroll versus actually how many might be enrolled in the plan. But yes, you're exactly right. That could happen. Somebody says, hey, I'm on Medicare, I don't need the plan, but they would still be in that count. Because you don't have, I think you have right at 20 enrolled. Yeah. And how many total employees do you have right now?
This is the current,
30-ish.
so find your name, no, I got it. And this is what it's going to, a renewal.
On the pharmacy, it says 0, 10, 50, 100. Is there different?
Yeah, so on the chart, on this right here, it kind of breaks it down between exactly what that means on this one right here. So basically what that's saying is for 0 or 10, that's for your generic medications.
But this is what the town's paying.
So there's a list of, you know, the lower cost generics, and a lot of those are gonna be 0. Another
Yeah,
great
this is
thing I
your
like about your plan, most of the
This is what the
medications,
town's gonna be
I assume
paying.
everybody takes on a,
Because we don't pay for it, the town is gonna pay all of this.
there's a color copy.
We're still paying
Oh,
all of it.
Yeah, that's just noting the co-pays,
Okay.
yeah, really for the medications.
I budgeted 10% increase. I do that every year, because you never know how much your insurance is gonna go up. So I budgeted 10% increase every year,
So how much we pay for the insurance?
100% of the employees.
Which I think is a great benefit, you know, but to your point, that also is a deterrent for people going off onto Medicare, right? When you're paying for 100% of that employee cost, you know, that can be a deterrent. You know, because you might have another situation where it costs, you know, $100 to be in the plan, you know, and that's when you're kind of doing that comparison against Medicare. Not recommending you change that, but that is just kind of how it works. You know, this is the Blue Advantage Network, which is Blue Cross Blue Shield's kind of, you know, competitive advantage, if you will, right now. It's a deeper discount, it's a smaller network, but where you guys are located at, you've been on Advantage now for a couple of years. And it's no problem. It's all the major facilities in Oklahoma City. It's St. Mary's, Integris, and Enid, Mercy, and Kingfisher. I don't think we've ever had a network problem since we moved over. No.
We did it first, but then we got, that was when they were enrolling everybody into the
Yes.
Advantage.
Yes, yes.
I make a motion to accept the renewal of the employee health, vision, and life presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Second, roll call?
Cliff,
Yes.
Bert,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Harold.
Yes.
And thank you for taking the time and the hour that we
Hey, sure.
got to stay.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed our conversation.
Six as well?
Say what?
I told him 6.
Everyone was here at 6 but you and Barb and Angie.
I got you.
Hey, I have 3 little kids at home, so I consider this kind of like a night off.
It would have been 6 if Katie would have changed this,
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Oh.
the agenda.
Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Janine.
You said you're going to have the B at the back?
I'm sorry?
You said you're gonna move B to the
He's
left?
not. That, they
No?
did the renewal,
Okay.
based on
Oh,
a,
he was getting that look, so I
it
didn't
was
know.
like from like August.
Okay, item B is discussion of possible action on expansion of fire station. Our Assistant Fire Chief, James Matusak's here. Do you wanna go over that?
You want to say anything before we start?
I'll just say, you all have heard me mention many times ISO and the ISO ratings. And Hennessey's very fortunate to be a protection class 3 on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the best.
Now what? We're class
We're
3.
a 3.
Okay.
And many cities larger than us don't attain that rating. One of the things that will be considered in the future, especially if Hennessey continues to expand, is our need to have a ladder truck, because they base that on square footage of the larger buildings in town. If you've got any buildings that are 3-story or excess, which we have the hotel, the dome is considered at least 3 stories in height. So when you reach 6 of buildings of a certain square footage and or 3 stories in height, then to keep your rating, you have to have a ladder truck. Now, does expanding the fire station mean we're going to have a ladder truck immediately? No. But we are trying to get the horse before the cart, before we get into a bind and find that we need one and don't have a place to put it. So we are basically out of room in the existing station, plus our overhead door heights are not designed to accommodate a ladder truck. So that's kind of what got us to here. So James, I'll let you speak on the drawing and what we're talking about.
Okay, so this is the existing building, 1, 2, 3, 4 doors. Of course, the 2-story part, the higher part is the new part. And as Bert said, we've been concerned about the ISO ratings and keeping it at a 3, keeping it at a 4 before we went to a 3. And we realized that we're going to have a ladder truck someday. You can't buy a ladder truck until you have a place to put it. And this is going to be an expensive project, so we want to get that part out of the way. So when the need is there, we can order a ladder truck and have a place to put it. So we looked at thought about some different options, building a whole brand new station. We really couldn't find a decent spot on Main Street that we thought would work. First, somebody's got to sell, but we was looking kind of one spot, and gentleman didn't want to sell. So then we start looking at the building to see what we could do. And so if we expand over, of course, this is the new part. So this is the pipe rail that you see between,
The little mountain down there at the bottom.
this one?
Mm-hmm.
You might have to minimize that.
Yay.
You get close to those and they reach your
You don't
hand.
have to touch it.
So the pipe rail is right there on the south side of that building. The other building next to it, of course, is the library. So we're going up to the pipe rail, and the drive-through, we're probably going to recommend that the town shut that drive-through. There'll probably still be room to drive, but I'm not sure we want somebody driving through that building. Now, if I go to another file, do I close it right there? You sure? Where'd all the attachments go?
In that file folder down there.
Down further. That's the file folder. And over.
That?
Over. Nope,
Yellow.
over one more.
That?
The yellow one.
That?
Nope,
To your right.
to the right, right there.
Why don't you say my
Double
right?
click on it.
And I don't know which picture is gonna get pulled up. Stupid thing up there, still trying to load it again.
Double click on it.
Is there, it highlighted?
Huh.
Is that the same one we just looked at?
No.
No.
No,
Okay, so the west, this is the west side. And it's gonna have, the entrance will be on the west side for visitors, which at first we used an AIP to draw out some of the plans. And they presented it that way, and I thought, we don't need a west entrance. But when you start looking at the building, it really adds to it, and that's what we want now.
Hold on, well, never mind. You had it up there.
Sir,
You do what you were doing.
you wanna come run this and I'll talk?
Okay, I will.
Maybe.
Double click.
There you go.
Okay, that's the back side, the east side of the building. And along with this addition, we want to go ahead and put in the helicopter pad back behind. And so the reason for the awning is a place for the ambulance to pull up, be out of the weather, be out of the sun, while we're waiting on the helicopter to land. So the expansion is going to come back past on the back side also, and then another 20-some feet for the ambulance to pull underneath. Now, Katie, what do you tell me I do to get the next picture?
Okay,
Hit the X. Now double click on the number 4.
That's just that's kind of showing the gap between the buildings. Do you want that back?
yeah, please, if you don't mind. Because I wasn't getting it net, but now I do. Thank you.
Can we get these graphics later? The graphic files?
probably.
Okay.
James?
So, I'm sorry.
Okay. I was just gonna say,
And so when we talked about the front entrance, we were like, what good's that if there isn't a place to park? So we're gonna incorporate off of this library drive, a circle coming right through here. It's not gonna accommodate a whole lot of vehicles, couple, 2 or 3. So there will be a drive-by through the front of it. Did you get a picture?
Yeah, thank you.
That's all that is.
That's all that is?
Uh-huh.
Okay, here's the meat of it. So this part down this way is new. As we said, the west entrance is coming into a lobby area. There's gonna be a report, see, it's called dispatch, that's not gonna happen. It's gonna be a reporting area, it's be for the firemen. We have radios in there, that's where we come in and do our fire reports. And this is the old one. Where's the new one at?
You might have pulled up an old email.
Okay, so these two offices are just one office now. I don't know where that other one went. There'll be one office here. Then you'll have women's and men's bathrooms. Right now, we just have one bathroom. Some storage area, mechanical rooms, decon, in case we get contaminated, that's a shower. The laundry for our washer and our dryer, for our extractor. Kitchen area. Electrical room. I'll try to find you the correct one if you're gonna print it.
I started to say, yeah, if you can just email them, that'd be great.
Then we're gonna finish the upstairs on this part right here. Not finish it, we're gonna deck it with the staircase going up. So in the future, if they ever go full-time, the plumbing's already gonna be there, everything's gonna be there, all you guys have to do is just finish it out. So we're trying to take this addition 30 to 40 to 50 years down the road. We're gonna use county money. We have the money to do it. There's probably some COVID money we're gonna get for it. So what we need from the city is permission to expand and use that ground behind for the pad.
What's the estimated cost?
Over $1 million.
Yeah, I figured, okay. But you got the money,
Yes, we do.
great.
Can we explain how we got the money?
It's county sales tax
County
money.
sales tax.
Well, for the camera, people,
Yeah,
The voters, citizens of Kingfisher County have treated us well. And there's a sales tax that's dedicated to the fire departments. Was dedicated, it's now dedicated to the jail. A small portion of that still comes to us. And we saved our money for a big project. This is what we're looking at.
good.
You probably don't know the answer to this, but how much is a ladder truck?
About 800 to $1 million. So in your long-term planning, you might consider that. Starting to work toward that. I mean, if the sales tax keeps coming in, we'll be happy to help, but whether we should do the whole thing, I'm not sure. I think we're doing a lot right here, getting us down the road.
How much does that leave you in that fund if you spend the 1 million on this?
I'm not sure what the current figures are, but I'm gonna say probably just under 2 million.
Oh, you still would have 2 million in, okay, I just thought, for
Somewhere
whatever
in
else came up that you needed to replace or
Somewhere in
whatever,
that
you have the
ballpark.
funds in there to do that, okay.
We have been
Very frugal.
extremely frugal
Right.
with,
Yeah.
plus, I don't know if you were to say this or not, but have provided a pumper for the town's provided one. This fund has provided, I think the last one was split between the county and the CDBG, I believe, so. The CDBG grant that we got
Right,
there,
yeah.
half of it. But
Bert, how much, this, you refer to this fund of $1 million, is that dedicated to the Hennessey Fire Department, or is that?
yes,
Yes,
yes.
it's our
How
share.
much have we been getting each year?
Richard, I'd have to go back and look at the numbers.
They're way down right now because of sales tax, one, and two, because the voters changed it from the fire departments to the jail for the next 10 years. And we're about 4 years into that, on paying off the jail. So hopefully the voters will give that back to us, or at least part of it. I'm sure part of it's still gonna have to be put, go to the jail to run that thing. So I mean, we're gonna get about, we'll be lucky to get half of what we've been getting.
What have we been getting?
Probably, that thing was bringing in about 150,000 a year, I mean, a month. And then that was split out through 8 departments, so probably 15,000 to 20,000 a month.
But you've been saving that for what, 10 or 15 years at least? Yeah.
Well, we haven't been saving all of it, because
Well, yeah, no,
First,
you
we-
made
we
purchase.
purchased tanker, was 200, purchased at least 2 brush trucks. I think we split 1 brush truck with the town. We split the E2 with the town. What am I forgetting? Then the town bought the Tahoe, and the town bought the original.
He won in 1991.
The rest of that down there is we have purchased with county money
Right.
to service the area, whether it's in town or out in the country. We don't look at it that way. We look at it as helping the whole community.
Sure.
And I might add that Hennessey Fire Department covers the largest area in the entire county. Our fire coverage area is about 325 square miles. Because we basically go east of the county line, we go west of the Cimarron River, and we don't go that far south, about 5 miles, and then Dover's territory takes over, but east and west, we've got a huge, huge response area.
Barbara, can I tell my little story when I called the insurance agency? When we were discussing changing the building code, the building code would enhance insurance rates, bring them down. So I called the state insurance department of the state there of Oklahoma. I got a very nice lady, and I started asking questions. Well, she immediately knew. I didn't say Bert's name, but she knew Bert. She said, Bert came in here with a couple of older fellas, and she's, what Bert and the other fire volunteers have done is they brought our rating, the ratings from 1 to 10, it was an 8, it was down to 4 when I called. And I asked, I said, how much money does that save? And she said, well, it depends on the insurance company, because all the insurance companies use the ISO rating in a different way. It's their decision. And I said, well, then can you give me a ballpark guess? And she said, each time you change your rating, when you go from 8 to a 7, 7 to a 6, it'll probably drop the rate 4 to 6%. And when I called, it was 4%, now it's down to 3. She said at 4%, there's a lot of larger towns that don't have a 4 rating. So if you take 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, now 3, that's 6 steps times 6%, 4 to 6%. So the fire department has brought down the insurance costs for everybody in Hennessey
Right.
up to 36%.
For their building insurance and homeowners insurance. Right.
So that's what this addition, we're hoping will keep us at a 3. I'm not sure we'll ever go to a 2 without full-time guys, but we don't want it to go back up. So as we expand as a town, the ladder truck will someday be here. I don't think I'll see it because I'm done. I mean, I'm 35 years, 36 years in, so I'm pretty well finished. But I think in the next 10 years, you might see a ladder truck. So we just want to get this done. The only things we're asking for the town is to let us have the ground to build on it. And one other thing we're going to ask the town is for a privacy fence around the grass area that you see east of the station now. And that is to keep bystanders, gawkers, nosy people from looking in when we land a bird to load somebody.
So this money that you have, will it also, is it allowed to be used for the helicopter pad?
Mm-hmm.
Can it be used for the fence?
That's what we're asking the town to do.
Okay.
I think if the firemen are willing to throw $1 million, $1.2 million at this, the town could throw the fence up. That's what we're asking.
It would replace that existing chain link fence.
And on the east, which would be Cherokee Street, that's how we will put a drive from Cherokee Street all the way to the fire station. And in that drive will be the helicopter pad, either in the center of it, depending on how it gets laid out, or probably to the north if we go on one side of it. Because we can't turn a ladder truck into that building unless we can come straight in. So the drive and the pad all goes in together.
I'm gonna add just a little bit to what James said about why we feel the need for a privacy fence. When we land a helicopter, somebody is very critically injured, and they are moved on a rolling cot from the ambulance to the helicopter. Sometimes there are things that people don't need to see, just to be quite blunt. We usually station a fire truck at the intersection of Cherokee and 4th, and Main and 4th, or we ask the police to come block that just to keep people from driving by. We've actually had people park their car, walk up there, and do this in the back door of the ambulance. And we don't want anybody's family to have to go through that. That's not right. And that's why we'd like to have the fence where you can't see through it.
Are you gonna have to widen the street and turn the ladder truck? They can make that corner?
We'll make that corner to semi.
That's, okay.
I don't anticipate, back up, I don't anticipate that happening. Because we're not gonna buy that big of a ladder truck. I wouldn't anticipate probably a 75 foot. So I don't think we'll have any issues making that corner. I hope not. I don't wanna guarantee that until we try it, but just looking at it, I think we got fine.
A 75 foot wouldn't even require tandem axle. And I think it would turn fine.
This isn't something that we just woke up one morning and said, let's do it. This is something we have thought about for years, have looked at other options, and we feel this is the best option for the fire department, for the town, and for the community for years to come. And the town's getting an add-on for free.
And I have no idea, do you, James, what proposed cost might be on a fence?
I have no idea.
I don't either. We haven't priced anything as far
I'm
as
sure it's 20 plus.
probably 20,000.
And do you go with the wood fence? Do you go with the tin fence? I mean, in that neighborhood, I think a wood fence would look nicer. It may not last as long. So that's something that if the town decides they would help us with the fence, then that would be your decision. And one other thing I'm gonna add to the request, now I'm sitting here thinking about it, is on the, if you picture on the northeast corner of the fire station as it sits now, that's where we fill up with water on the outside. The pipe runs through the building. And that's where we also wash our trucks. And the mud just sits there, goes down in the street. We would like to have a mud pit there. And I don't know where you drain that water. Where does the car wash drain their water? Is it in the storm system or where is it?
I'm not sure. Do you know, Tiffany?
When I had a car wash, I had a pit that the mud would go into, and then the water would overflow the pit into it and would go into
And then they
the,
have to clean it, then they have to come in and they have to clean it out.
right,
But, so we would like to,
because that was
because we
overflow.
anticipate going ahead and pouring concrete on the east side because that blacktop's just all broke up. So when we do that drive and everything, we anticipate putting concrete back there, if we can afford it. And we would like to go ahead and incorporate that wash bay in there, or someplace to catch that mud. And then, of course, the water needs to go wherever it goes in a storm, it goes in, did it go in the sewer system, or did it go?
Mine went to the sewer system.
Okay. I don't know where the closest main is right through there for the sewer.
It's in that alley.
So now,
So we'd like to hook into that.
So you're gonna use the funds for architectural, everything you need, the engineering and everything, right,
Correct.
for this? Okay.
If it gets
Have you
approved.
gotten that far to do an engineering report or anything?
So, if it gets approved tonight, we have a meeting with the commissioners. We're gonna be on their agenda Monday to hire AIP.
Oh,
They're the
okay.
ones that drew the plans for the jail. And they've worked well with the commissioners know them. So, if you approve it tonight, then we will have a contract with them probably next week.
Okay. Does the county have to approve any of this?
Every bit of it.
Yeah, all of it.
Okay.
It will have
No,
to go out.
even the request, do they have to approve the use of the funds?
We've already been there.
Okay. Okay.
All of the bidding will go out through the county.
County.
In the county, of course, you probably have read this, Barb, in the Kingfisher paper, is the county got a little over $3 million in COVID money. And the commissioners came to all the fire departments and said, get your wish list together, because we're gonna share this COVID money with the fire departments. And they shared fire departments with Real Water, there at the courthouse. I don't know if the health department made the cut or not, but, so we requested 3 items from them. And it appears all 3 are gonna get funded to somewhat. And this is one of them.
Okay. Great.
They will not fund, the COVID money will not cover new construction, it will cover remodel.
Right.
And so, as we put in the decon areas, the place for the ambulance, the kitchen, that's all covered. And when they get, it's been approved by the commissioners, what we presented for COVID money. Then it went to the state attorney general to be approved. So there's no, if the attorney general says, yes, this is COVID money, then we can go for it, nobody can touch us. So that's why we're doing that.
James, do you remember, I just had those numbers together, but I don't have them with me, of course. What our percentage of medical calls were? I think we were, I'm wanting to say 68% last
I
year.
thought it was just right at 70, yeah.
And the percentage of our total calls, how many were medical versus fire? We respond with the ambulance, of course, on car accidents. If that's got an injury, we roll. Part of this COVID money that James was talking about with the decon area and such, if we have a fireman that gets contaminated clothing, he doesn't have to get back in his personal vehicle and take that home. There would be a place right there for him to take off his clothing that's been contaminated, to shower, put it directly into an extractor, which is a fancy name for a big commercial washing machine that we already have, to decontaminate the clothing. So he's not taking pathogens home to his family. And
Okay, so the $1 million, is that from your reserve money, or does that include the money, the COVID money?
Reserve money.
Pardon?
Reserve money.
It's all reserve, oh, it's all, okay.
so if we got, I don't know, what do you think we might got
Well,
for COVID money? Whatever
I'm
we
gonna
got.
be careful
from-
how I say this, but at one time, when we first drew it up, we were gonna make this a safe room. And when they came back with the estimates, it was gonna be like $1.3 million. And and that safe room was about 250,000. So the more we thought about it, we thought, we're not gonna put the safe room in. So that's why I'm giving you the $1 million. It may come in at 900,000, it may come in at 1.3
okay.
with these construction costs. We're asking COVID money of about 300. Whether we get all of it or we get 50%, 70%, whatever we get is gonna be a gift.
Right.
I have a curiosity question, not really related to this. Who controls the fire department? Is it the county or is it the community? Is it the Hennessey community?
Say that one more time, who's what?
Who is the authority over the fire department? I assume it's the
The town,
town, since
yes.
we're having to give permission.
Yes.
It's not, the county has money, but it's not, it doesn't.
They have no authority. Only authority they have over us is saying yes or no on how we spend the money.
I see. From the sales
From the
tax.
sales tax.
They have nothing to do with the tax we generate here for our,
No.
what we want to put in.
No,
Right.
correct. So if the city would want to fund this whole thing, then we wouldn't even go to the county. Is that what you're saying?
No, I was just curious. No, I was just curious.
Good try.
If you want to do the building, we'll do the ladder truck.
Yeah.
You got that in your budget?
Sure.
One follow-up question on this reserve that you got built up. Who writes the checks?
County.
Does Tiffany write them or the
No.
county?
No. County.
County.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tiffany don't have that kind of money.
Well, I thought they'd give it to you.
You know, and the commissioners have never given us any grief over how we spend the money, but we don't go ask for stupid stuff. I mean, we ask for stuff that is needed within our department to serve our area plus any part of the county or outside the county. And we pay for it in cash and we don't put it on time.
I'll tell you, this whole county tax money, because it seems like we built up a great amount of money, and we have. But it has been a win-win for the citizens, because yes, they have paid a little bit more in sales tax, but they've gotten a reduction in their insurance because of that sales tax. So it has helped us. Now, I cannot sit here and say that that's a break-even wash. I don't know. It may be sided one way or the other. But what the whole picture has done has helped us improve emergency response and abilities of what we can do once we get to a situation considerably. I mean, James and I have gone from 2 fire trucks to what we have now. One of those fire trucks was dedicated as a city pumper, could not leave the town limits of Hennessey. The other one was a rural truck that whatever water we took with us was all the water we had. And
We ran out of the police station.
and
Garage.
we were in the garage at the police station. And so
Well,
it's,
given my insurance policy on my home, that 36% is a whole lot of money
yeah, it is,
for me.
it is.
And the sales tax catches travelers going through also, so it's not, I mean.
Yeah, it's not just, yeah,
And we go anywhere in the county, we go outside the county, wherever we're needed to limit, but we dang sure help each other in the county. And we would not be a 3 without the county sales tax, because I don't think Hennessey would have been able to buy the equipment that we have bought.
no.
And the firemen are happy to, I mean, we don't sit there and say, this really should be a real deal and the city should be doing that. I mean, I may read bird about it, but we don't look at it that way. We look at it as fire department serving the community. So we would like to have this project. We would like for your planning to start planning for part of a ladder truck at least, so we don't have to spend all our funds, because we will be replacing real trucks as the years go on. The next ones we replace are 06s. They don't have very many miles on them, but they got some hard wear. They're used hard. So when they start giving us a lot of trouble, there's a point you just send them down the road, we get a new one. And a brush pumper's costing about $150,000 now. So I'd say probably within the next 5 years, we'll replace one of those. But if the voters are gracious enough to let us continue with this tax, then we'll be happy to keep sharing it in the community.
I make a motion to let the fire department have the land east of the fire department that they need, and the town will replace the fence to be noted at that time.
A second.
Roll call, please.
Cliff,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Bert,
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
On a side note, Richard, you talked about the lady at the ISO knowing my name, and I want to just point out while James is here, I'd really rather do it when he wasn't, but he is. He has been right by my side, and there has not really been much go on down there that James has not been a huge part of. So I cannot take the credit for getting that done. There were times 30 years ago before we had money that he and I were laying on the floor under those trucks changing oil because we were that strapped for cash. And I just want to say I appreciate James's years of service because he's really been a huge help.
We actually built trucks down there.
We actually, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Jump
he's not
trucks,
joking.
and we try to make a fire truck
Yeah.
out of them.
Yeah. Yeah, we built a tanker one time because we found the chassis of a big Ford diesel truck for $5,000 and bought it. And, we found an old stainless steel milk tank off of a milk truck and put on there, but what we found out after we got all that done, that milk trucks are not baffled on the inside, because if it did, the milk would turn into butter. So, we had a little issue when we would go to stop. But anyway, I guess we've taken enough time on that, but thank you, and thanks, James, for bringing.
We've been there together.
Yeah, thank you.
Item C is discussion with possible action to give town employee appreciation incentive bonuses. Cliff's got that on, and it's something we've done every year for the past several years.
What we've done with the full-time is start out with $500 and then $50 for every year that they've done the service, and then part-time is $150. And I would like to go ahead and put this out to do this again for the Christmas bonus for the employees of the town of Hennessey.
I think it's well earned and well deserved. I've been associated with the town for a long time, and we've got an amazing group of people working here, and I'm very proud that we're able to give them benefits like this insurance plan. And I totally agree with you, Cliff. I think they deserve this Christmas bonus.
I think that our town people have worked harder and more together and got more done this year than they have in past years. So.
And we've had a trying time with COVID and all the things that have gone down the pike, and our employees have, I just can't say enough good things about them.
I make a motion to give the town employees appreciation incentive bonus. Any say?
Yeah, you need to put how much?
Got it.
500.
Full-time is $500 plus $50 per year.
$500 for the full-time employees plus $50 a year that they've worked,
Yes, sir.
and $150 for part-time,
Yes, sir.
and $50 for the years they serve.
No, sir.
No,
Just the 105.
Okay. flat 150.
flat 150. Unless you, I mean, that's what we did in the past, and
Do we have any part-time employees that has done year service?
That's done what?
Has got more than 1 or 2 years
Well,
service?
our part-time includes like the volunteer firefighters and the reserve police officers.
So a flat fee of $150? The way he said.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's proposed. Right?
yes. And I'll second his motion.
Roll call?
Harold,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes,
Bert,
Yes. Okay, item D is discussion with possible action to approve the police pension program for the police officers. Now that we've gone over the insurance paperwork, and I know how old you are, you're gonna be needing this pretty quick.
I need the insurance, I don't need the pension, I already draw the pension.
They got Tiffany at 49, by the way.
Hey, now we're live. Oh, man, I need to join the police department. Okay, so, I know Hank and I talked about this before Hank left, and Ed and I've talked about it in length. I've had this paperwork for, I think, probably 3 or 4 years. This is one thing that we've looked at, to try to, try to keep good officers. I think it's something that the city really needs to consider. At first, probably close to 5-6 years ago, I was like, no, because it's a really big commitment that the city has to make, because once the city gets into the police pension, we can't get out.
It's irrevocable.
Yes, once we join, then we're in it. So that's the thing, but now that I've been here for 15 years, and I see how hard it is to get good qualified police officers, and how hard it is to find at the salaries that we pay and the different things. I think that the police pension is probably something that would help us draw in, some qualified applicants. It is, right now, we pay up to 6% for regular employees' retirement. The city would be putting in 13%. So,
And it says member contributes 8%.
correct.
And that's not, is that
They-
optional for them?
No, it's
not
not.
optional.
It's not optional.
It's
They-
not optional. No.
They have to put in 8%.
So in addition to their Social Security, Medicare withholdings, they have another 8% withholding that they don't currently have.
Correct.
Correct.
what are they paying now?
Huh?
What are they paying now?
What are they paying now? Like if we match if we put in the 6%, they're probably putting in 4%.
I see. So they're paying, so it's taking them from 4% to 8%.
Correct.
And now, Richard, they have an option on how
Yes.
much they want to, they could elect to say, I'm gonna put in 2% or 1%, correct?
Correct.
But
This, they
this would
will
lock them in at 8.
8.
What do our officers think about that?
I have spoken to every officer. It doesn't affect me, I've already been with the pension, I already draw this, retirement off the pension, so I wouldn't go back into the pension. The other 4 officers would. I've spoken to every officer. Right now, we have, in my opinion, a phenomenal police department. We have officers that all are rooted here pretty much. They're not looking to go anywhere. Every other police department around us is begging for people, begging for applicants. Here, I've got applicants that wanna be here, they wanna be here, but this is one of the benefits they're really looking for. I've spoken to every police officer, they said that they would, you know, even if the town wanted to, I don't know, if, you know, maybe a raise or something like that, they would be willing to just give all of that up to get back onto the pension system. Because then they can stay here and actually look towards their retirements later on. These guys sacrifice a lot, they work holidays, they work midnight shift, they, you know, a lot, and we've got some dedicated police officers here, and when it comes to recruiting, the last time I tried to recruit a police officer, I got 0 applications. So I think this is a way to get future applicants, and it's also a way to benefit our police officers that are here now. Like I said, it doesn't benefit me, it benefits them, but I really, really would like to push this. I've spoken to all of them, and all of them are on board with this, because they are gonna lose money in their pay, they are, because then they have to start dishing out 8%, but they're willing to do that.
Ed, is this, when they retire out, do they retire out after 20 years?
At 20 years, you can do 20, and you can retire at 20, and you withdraw 50% of your
last 30 months salary or
last
something?
of your high 30
Of your
months.
highest 30 months?
Mhm.
That's a pretty good retirement.
It's a good retirement, yes. Now, if I've got somebody that starts at 21 and they retire at 41, they won't draw their retirement until they're 50.
Right. I
But
understand.
they would draw till they were 50 and they could just go. But if you retire after, like if you start at 30 and you go to 50 and you retire there, you start drawing your retirement benefits immediately.
If the prior service would count for, like,
It's-
let's say we join, but they worked, say, 5 years for Hennessey, would that 5 years count towards the 20,
No, we
30?
would have to, as a city and an individual, we'd have to pay back those 5 years. Because we invest a certain amount of money. They expect you to pay that
Pay
20
back.
years.
I see.
So we would have to actually, if an officer was here for 5 years and we get on pension now, the city and the member would have to contribute to that 5 years.
Have to buy back in.
Have to buy back the 5 years, yes. So that's quite a bit of money. So it's gonna be one of those that even if they've been here 5 years, it starts now, from the way I understand it. That could be wrong, but from the way I understand it, it would start now.
Yes.
And so that would transfer to another department if they left here and they had a pension plan.
Any city that is in with we call it OPERS, the Oklahoma Police Pension Retirement System, any other city, like if an officer chooses to leave here and they go to another OPERS agency, the money would just transfer.
Ed, do you know if surrounding towns like Kingfisher, Wacomas, Okene, are they?
Kingfisher is, from my understanding, Kingfisher is.
Yes.
Wacomas is not. They are not. They're on the OPERS, I think, system. But other than that, I can't speak of, which agencies are out here, but I can guarantee that the majority of the smaller agencies are I can't even guesstimate, it might be 50%, 40%, I don't know. But the majority of the smaller agencies that I've actually spoken to some of the chiefs, few of them are on the system. The larger agencies are all.
And this is strictly a Oklahoma
Yes.
pension, it's not a national.
No, it's Oklahoma.
And it is through the state of Oklahoma. It's
Yes.
not a private.
It's not private, it's through the state.
It's through the state government.
Tiffany, do you have any idea how much we have to make up if we join, how much, if we have to go to the back years and kick in money?
No, we won't go back
We won't
here,
go back.
we will start,
We won't go back.
We won't go back.
no.
Do you know annually about what the cost to the town will be? What the increase will be from what we're contributing?
Well, I budgeted it this year,
Okay.
so it's already in
It's
the
in the
budget.
budget.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So how much would that be? Do you have any clue? Get it to me later, it's fine. Can't find it.
Hold on just a minute.
While she's doing that, I'm just gonna say that we've discussed this. I don't remember that if it's ever been discussed in a town board meeting, but it has has been discussed before. And my biggest negative about it was having to be locked in. I was always afraid, you know, if the town sees hard times down the road, we may not be able to keep up with it. But, you know, I look at our employees and I feel like, and just police officers included as well, of course, but I really feel like that we need to do something to keep good quality people across the board, and especially in the police and everywhere else, and I think this will help do that. I met with Tiffany and talked about this a little bit yesterday just to make sure I understood. And guys, I just feel like, you know, we've got to take care of our people, and who pays that price? It's the citizens. But I think the citizens get something very good in return for the price that they're paying, and if it means that we don't wait 5 or 6 years to raise utility rates to keeping up with inflation, we need to be doing that anyway. So that's
About $10,000 a year.
a year, really. That's not near as much as I thought.
That's a pretty low figure.
So
firefighters, don't you all have is there a pension fund for firefighters? I mean,
Correct.
is that something, does the town pay that? Or is that,
on firemen, they pay $60 a year per fireman.
wow, that's, wow.
But firemen only draw $125 a month when they here. They don't get. If we were in a city that had full-time firemen, Barb, that would change.
Oh, the
And-
amount of money would change.
And I think the city's contributions on full-time firemen is 10%, if I.
But right now, you're just paying $60 a year per
Per-
fireman? Wow, okay.
And we get a $5,000 death benefit, and $125 a month when you retire at 20 years. James has got enough years in, he'll get more than that, I would get more than that, because it does go up a few dollars for each extra year, not much. I don't even remember what the number is. It's not enough to
It
even.
stops at 35.
And it stops at 35 years, so
Those of us over
So
35,
some of you are over, yeah,
we need to go.
yeah,
we're working for free. Well, actually, it's costing us,
yeah.
So is this for just full-time officers, or is it full-time reserve and reserve?
It's just full-time.
Yeah, I don't think probably that's probably a requirement of the pension system, isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
What, to be full?
That it,
Full-time.
pardon?
To be
That it be
full-time?
full-time?
Yes.
But is this, just out of curiosity, is this fire department retirement fund, is that a special fund like police?
It is,
Is
it's
it?
Oklahoma
Ministers
firefighters.
Ministers of the state of Oklahoma?
Yes, yeah.
I make a motion to approve the police pension program for the police department, for the officers.
Second,
Roll call?
Cliff,
Yes.
Harold,
yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Bert.
Yes. Okay, item E is discussion with possible action to adopt a pay scale for employees to implement into the employee handbook. I'm assuming that's in our packet.
It looks like this, Bert.
Huh? I'm Sharon Cliff. When I spoke with Tiffany yesterday, we discussed this as well, and she's made a chart here, kind of a spreadsheet to show that as people are employed longer, they get step raises, and then if the town comes in, the town board decides that we need a 2.5% cost of living index raise, it would go on top of this, but I'll let you explain it. The thing I like about it is that somebody coming in as a new water employee, they know what they're gonna make when they get their Class B license, their Class D, their Class C. They know how much they're gonna get bumped. And instead of trying to sit down and willy-nilly figure, there's something set for them to.
And I don't necessarily want this approved, because I think you guys need to look over it and, unless you guys want to, and you think it's okay, but I think you guys need to look over it and, let me know if you wanna make any changes, because I think this is something that doesn't just need to, just pass through. I think it needs some, because I know I gave it to the managers and let them look over it for a month. Ed and I have been looking over it for a couple of months. But, because I want it to be effective July 1st, for the new budget. So, I have one for regular employees and then one for the police department. Since we are doing the police pension, the police department kind of has a pay scale where their increases are not, I think, are 1.5%, because their retirement is, the city is contributing 13%, whereas everyone else, the city contributes 6%. So, there is a little bit of difference in the yearly increases. But everyone would get an increase on their anniversary date as long as they were in good standing. They didn't have any write-ups during that year. So,
So correct me if I'm wrong, if you are, if you're the pool manager and you've been the pool manager 4 years and you had a write-up, you don't get that bump until the following year,
correct.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes,
It's going right up, it don't matter what.
correct, because you should have verbals.
Tiffany, is on these steps, I worked for the federal government for 11 years. And like the first 3 steps were annual, and then when you went to your 4th step, step 5, 6, it might be 2 to 3 years or 3 to 4 years. Is this step 1 through 10, is that an annual till you get to year 10, and then at year 10 that's the max on it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you did the fee structure that we approved for building and construction and all that, you had a copy of Enid, and you talked to Enid and Kingfisher and basically repeated what they had.
Mm-hmm.
Is this kind of like how you put this together? I know when we've had our...
Not really. I kind of visited with different places on how much people make and tried to compare, locally on what people make, and tried to compare it with, kind of locally on what people make and
I know
try
when
to.
Keith Meeks was on board, he pulled up some
We have
salary information. I think I don't know where he got it.
it's a salary survey that Oklahoma Municipal League, but they don't have like step and pay scale on there. There's not a pay
Was it
scale on
just
there.
What was it, an average salary or a beginning salary?
It's just what people make, like what the clerk makes in Crescent,
Mhm.
or what the, city manager makes in Kingfisher.
So it's kind of all mixed up as far as years and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Tiffany, I like this and I like the looks of it. I would like to take a month to review it.
I think you should.
Because I see a couple of things on there I want to ask you about that I didn't notice yesterday, so.
I think you should.
I'm glad that you spent the time, and I was one of these people that was very hard. And I know this wasn't easy to come up with either. So I appreciate your time that you have put into this, so thank you.
But I want something set in stone for employees, so when they come to work, they know that, in so many years, I could be making this. And I know that it's been probably 4 years since these girls have had a raise. And it's just not fair. I mean, and I think that helps the city morale. And, I mean, because everybody's been doing a good job. And I don't like it on, personally, my shoulders to determine what everyone should make. And I know you guys didn't like it to determine on what everybody should make. So to me, I think it should just be something set in stone.
So where do you step them in? Like, you got guys been here 10, 15 years, they automatically stepped in?
Yeah.
So, like our longest tenure employee, 26 years, it'd be
He would automatically be maxed out.
24/70 or whatever it is.
I took that job for agriculture, 1971, they had something like this all set up. And nice thing about this, it doesn't leave an employee hanging. I think any employee, I don't care if they work for the federal government or a small town, they're thinking, what's this town going to go by 5 or 6 years before I get a raise? But here they would know.
Yeah, they would.
I think it helped morale.
I think so too. And then if you guys want to do a cost of living sometime, then that would be on top of, that would just come in here and do a cost of living on top of this. So.
Exactly, and that goes back to what I was saying about, I think we need to look at our water, garbage and sewer rates each year. We need to look at,
All
this
rates.
year has been horrible for inflation, as everybody knows. And I feel like we need to look at that annually instead of waiting. It shouldn't be 4 years, so.
Well, I'm having to explain to the auditor why certain things are higher. And it's like, well, let's see, our garbage rates went up, our, just different things.
Yeah.
Tiffany, let's say somebody is in step one. Right now, the wage they're making with Hennessey, it's in step one.
Mhm.
But they've been working for the town of Hennessey for 6 years. Is this approved, would they automatically go to step 6, or how does it?
Yes.
Have you done any numbers, like you did for the police, it was 10,000? I see you smiling, so you have a number right.
Yeah, it's not very pretty.
What is it?
What did I tell you, Ed?
Sorry?
I haven't done one recently, because I've changed my numbers several times.
I see.
The last one was $139,000.
Increase?
But it's changed since then, so I don't know what it is now.
There's a lot of discussion, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it started at 180,000. I was like, oh yeah, it can't go there.
Okay, everybody okay with tabling that?
Yes.
Okay, item F, discussion with possible action to make changes to the employee handbook. Do we need to
I haven't
wait
seen
until we
employee
get
handbook.
this?
Yeah, because I didn't get it out.
I need an employee handbook before I can make a
Yeah.
judgment.
That's what I wanted to do, I just wanted to distribute to you guys to start reviewing, so I will get it to you guys this week.
And I think a handbook is a very good thing. Not only does the person doing the job know what's required of them, but we also
Yeah,
know what's required of them to do.
so,
And you don't know what to do if you don't know what you're required to do.
And we have a print handbook, you're just wanting to
Yeah.
update, correct?
yes.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know anything
It's
about
been
it.
a long time since I've seen it.
Katie, have you seen a handbook?
When I started,
Did you read it?
maybe. The front cover, does that count?
It said handbook.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask Shelley because I know the answer from Shelley.
Okay, item G is accept or reject any resignations not received prior to posting of the Okay, new business. Citizens' comments. Council persons' reports. Richard, you have anything to report?
No, sir, Cliff, good.
I can't think of anything. Harold?
That's David Jones, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad you're, I guess you're running for office.
Yeah, I signed up.
I appreciate that. Just glad you're here at the meeting.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I signed up. I'm gonna see if I can get my name out there.
My
Thank you.
understanding that two.
Yes, Frank Patton was gonna be here too, but he thought it was tomorrow night, and so he switched his meetings from tomorrow night to tonight, and so, yeah.
Okay.
If nothing else, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Cliff,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Bert,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
All right. This will be a meeting of the Hennessey Utility Authority Board of Trustees. Roll call, please.
Richard,
Here.
Cliff,
Here.
Bert,
Here.
Harold.
Here.
Item 2 is consider approval of consent agenda, minutes of the meeting. Approval of claims as follows: November purchase orders, $12,608.92. December purchase orders, $53,947.77. December meter deposit refunds, $879.40. And treasurer's report. Are there any additions or corrections to the consent agenda? If not, I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Bert,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Harold.
Yes.
Who seconded that? You, Cliff?
Yes, sir.
Okay, citizens' comments. Other scheduled business: discuss, accept, approve, deny, reject, and or take action on the following. Item A is discussion with possible action to renew the employee health, vision, and life insurance as presented by Pete Town.
I make a motion to renew the employee health, vision, and life insurance as presented by Pete Town.
Second.
Roll call?
Cliff,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Bert.
Yes. Item B is discussion with possible action to give town employees appreciation incentive bonuses.
Motion to give the town employee appreciation incentive bonus.
Okay, we need to state how much since it's stated.
$500 for full-time employees, $50 per year of service, and $150 flat service for part-time.
I second that. Roll call?
Harold,
Yes.
Bert,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Cliff.
Yes.
Okay, we have item C's discussion of possible action, accept a bid from Farmers Electric to to replace a generator at well 7.
When we lose electricity out at the wells, we have 2 generators right now, but they're in the same well field. And so we need a generator in another well field. Because we need 2 different well fields to run the RO. So we need one at well 7. Does that make sense?
Well, pretty much of a have-to decision here.
Because when we lost power back during the ice storm and stuff last year, we had to rent from Caleb a generator to put at well 7 to run that well.
To keep it going through the RO.
Yeah, to keep the water up.
How much is it gonna be?
$22,805.77. It's in your packet.
Is Jimmy gonna come out and give a tank and,
And then we'll have to purchase the tank and Jimmy will run the fuel line.
Do we purchase those propane tanks or rent those? Or
We purchase them.
purchase them?
Mhm.
Did you make a motion? Oh, I thought you made a
I
motion.
thought he did
No,
too.
he just asked me how much it was
Oh,
gonna be.
okay.
I misunderstood.
I did too.
So,
I got it.
Got it?
I want to, accept the bid of Farmers Electric for $22,805.77 for the generator for well 7.
Second.
Roll call?
Cliff,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Bert.
Yes. Okay, accept or reject any resignations not received prior to posting the agenda. Any new business? Citizen comments? Councilperson reports? Anybody got anything on HUA? I will move we adjourn.
I second that.
Roll call.
Bert,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Harold.
Yes.